Welcome back to People Are Terrible. I'm Jeremy. He's Caleb. And we're going to talk some weird news. We're going to talk some Florida man headlines. And then each of us has brought a topic to discuss with you guys this week. I just want to take a second to let you guys know if you do have any suggestions for topics you want to hear us talk about, leave them down in the comments section. We haven't had like a whole outpouring of topics that you guys want to discuss, so we're just waiting. Like whenever you feel comfortable and confident enough to leave it down in the comment section, it would be cool to be able to take submissions and questions and suggestions from you guys. So definitely, even if it's just to humor me for this one time because I'm directly asking for it, leave us some topics down in the comment section. But like I said, as always, we're going to start it off with some of the week's weird news headlines. For the last couple of weeks, Caleb and I have just been kind of Googling it on the fly and seeing what's going on. I think both of us have found at least a topic or two this time that we're going to talk about. So Caleb, how's it going, man? How you doing over there?
It's good, man. I'm over here buying movies while you're doing your intro.
What did you buy?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Goodbye.
I still haven't seen it.
I
have a Prager's wife and I never go to the movies anymore.
I support that purchase. Hopefully you'll be a little more inclined to enjoy that one than something like, say, I don't know, a Martin Scorsese movie.
Well, I'm telling you, Scorsese's hit or miss.
That's a matter of personal opinion.
When he hits, that guy hits.
So, all right, I want to let you start it off. What do you got, man? You got a weird news headline? Or
I do.
Okay.
A duck named Dave has to have penis removed after being over amorous with the ladies.
Whose penis?
Well, his own.
Oh, okay, I got you.
He doesn't have anyone else's penis removed.
We're not getting into that weird of news yet. So, okay, what happened?
So this duck's owner, Josh Watson, claims the bird was mating with its female companions, Dora, Edith, and Frida, up to 10 times a day.
Oh, wow.
As a result, Dave injured himself and got a nasty infection. He was prescribed antibiotics, and his owners were tasked with washing his penis daily. But the duck kept trying to have sex. Unfortunately, it didn't do the trick. Vets decided the only thing they could do was make Dave more comfortable was to remove his manhood, leaving about 1 centimeter behind.
That was a woman that came to that decision. Anybody that comes to the conclusion that removing your penis is going to make you more comfortable is not, well, all right, look, I don't want to overgeneralize. Most people want to hold on to their penises.
Holding the duck's head. I don't know if it's the nurse, but it is.
So, Dave the Duck.
Dave the Duck.
Dave the Duck loves to fuck. We're going to have to change the expression from fucking like rabbits to fucking like ducks. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I know that ducks have corkscrew penises.
Yeah. So that's terrifying. So the quote says, I think he's a nymphomaniac. He's got high sex drive. So I think that's what caused it. So apparently ducks stop at a certain time of year, like they have a mating season. And the quote says, the owner said, he doesn't stop throughout the year. Over winters, he's meant to calm down. The ducks stop laying eggs, but he doesn't stop mating. He just carries on.
Dave is a G. Dave loves the ladies. It sounded like he has 3 regular partners. Like they name 3 ducks by name. Yeah, all got very human names, which I don't approve of that either.
He got sister wives over here.
Yeah. In a polygamous duck relationship.
And then he said, I think his female companions do like him. They obviously sometimes get fed up and just wander off.
I mean, damn, that is a demanding, that's a lot of nut.
I have the vet's name.
Okay.
Do you want to think if you're right, if it was a woman who made the decision or a man?
I mean, I know I was right.
It's Sonia Miles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's your mom.
I know. That's my cousin.
Oh, shit, man. Tell her to chill out. Yeah, of course it's a woman. We're going to make the duck more comfortable by cutting his dick off. No, it's not how those things work.
She said, normally it goes back inside once he's finished, but it stayed out. And obviously, when it's out, it's bashed and stood on and pecked at.
Oh, my God.
God knows what.
Damn, dude. So it's just hanging out.
It's pecked at.
Dude.
It's just awful.
Yeah, these ducks are really getting screwed. Dick, duck. There's just so much wordplay that I want to do here, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna Google it. Duck Corkscrew penis. I don't know if I'm going to show you guys yet. It depends on what it looks like, but you might have to deal with this image as well.
It's amazing. I'm gonna Google this too. See, where's my phone? Um,
Okay, yeah, I found some sort of like it's not a. Well, let me.
it's like a medical, like a drawing.
Yeah. I don't need the real deal. Pin's eye. That was a small typo.
Man,
It does look just like a weird corkscrew. For some reason, this picture that I'm looking like has like glass bongs
ooh, I
in the
do see it.
same
It
image.
looks like a fucking wine corkscrew.
Yeah, I mean it's just straight up what you would think of.
That's terrifying. Probably good they cut that fucking terrifying thing off.
Yeah, I mean it's a dog. I just wow, much ado about nothing. Where is this at?
It's a UK website, but I'm not sure. Let's see.
Oh my god, bro. Look, just do me a favor. Google the Argentine lake duck.
Argentine lake duck?
Bro. Looks like he could go fishing with that dick. I think it does. I think it impregnates birds from the sky with it. You see it?
Lake duck. Holy shit.
It's like coming at you with a narwhal horn.
Oh my god. It looks like the way it's like curved is like when you see a wasp go to sting someone.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Coming at ya. All right, that's all right. That's enough, I think. I mean, unless you want to continue on in this conversation.
There is a corkscrew with a duck on top of it. That's pretty funny, like an actual like one you can buy. And it's pretty funny because it looks like a duck with a corkscrew penis.
Oh yeah, see that's just good marketing. I'm into that.
That's great marketing.
All right, what have I got going on here? I looked up a couple stories this morning. The Florida man was looking a little sparse, but we're not there yet. And I did find one or two, but okay, I got a kick out of this. Netflix released a tweet on the 6th, and the tweet that they put, this was December 5th. What's something you can say during sex, but also when you manage a brand Twitter account? And of course, there got lots of responses. Rolling Rock was one of my favorites. We're rock hard. Pretty straightforward, to the point. Other brands got in on the action, like Kettle Brand chips. You can go elbow deep in me. I'm into it. That's pretty good.
That's good.
Animal Planet, send me a, quote, good snake pic. Not as great.
No, not the best. There's so many better things than animals.
Arby's, do you want more meat? Yeah, could have seen that one coming. Step up your creativity game. Boston Market, you've been waiting for this stuffing all year. Not bad. Packy chips, don't get it in your eyes. I only see that working one way. Bone in, please, is what Wingstop says.
That's decent.
It is, yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
There's some good ones in here. Yelp, please share your experience with the community.
It's all right.
Ben and Jerry's, you want to take a lick? Yeah, not all that great. I like this. I don't know who he is. He's not a brand account, but they felt the need to include him. Mark Espinoza says, we have heard your complaints and we're working diligently to correct the issue. So what do you...
That's pretty good.
That
That's
is pretty
decent.
good. What do you think about brands getting in on like a branded account, post something, and then other branded accounts come in and get in on the action? We've seen it with chicken sandwiches. What do you think?
That's a weird like new. I think it's cool. I mean, it gives the brand's personality. I don't know if you've ever followed like Arby's on Twitter.
No.
Dude, Arby's is the dopest Twitter account.
Really?
Yeah, they literally just post art, like nerdy art made from their boxes and their stuff. So it'll be like video game art and stuff like that. So, and it's all made from like their cut up boxes.
Dude, they're one of my new favorite Instagram followers is definitely a kind of goth thought. She's a really, really attractive young lady. She's one of my favorite Instagram follows, though, because not only is she like always posting super hot lingerie pictures, but the captions on them are always like amazing. I'm not sure if it's her, but that like builds the like having clever people handling your social media
really helps.
Carries, yeah, dude, does so much for your freaking brand. Like one of the reasons why I hate Twitter is because I'm not good at tweeting. Like, I don't feel like I've ever got anything to say in that context. Like, I never don't have anything to say, but when it comes to like, you got to get it out there, make it concise, make it clever, make it something that nobody's ever fucking said or done before. And then I get so lost down the rabbit hole that I'm like, fuck, I guess I'll just try again tomorrow.
I've gone like when I had my old one, quote unquote, viral, like a couple times, like a couple thousand, but I'm nothing crazy. Like I think my most retweets was like 10,000 one time,
Holy shit.
but it was, I forgot what it was. It
What
was a
kind
joke.
of race, gender bait, politics shit were you tweeting about?
I know it was some joke. It probably was a joke about all that shit. So here's a screenshot from Arby's.
Let me see. Hold up. I'm not got.
See if you ever met.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's all stuff like that. Their
Yeah.
Twitter.
I'll follow them. I
It's kind
recommend.
of fascinating.
I'd never really have thought to follow any sort of brands because I'm like, why do I want advertising in my feed? But anything funny, I'll take it. You know.
That's the only reason I follow them is someone retweeted something one time and it was like Spider-Man drawn out of Arby's sauce. Oh, and I was like, okay, cool. You
That
kinda
is
got
pretty
me.
cool. So I'm
Yeah.
working on some drawings right now. I wanted to show you. I'll do it eventually. I'm having a tough time with it, man. Contrary to what my thought process was, getting a tablet doesn't actually make you a good artist.
It's still art.
Disappointing. Yeah, you still actually have to do it. That's the thing.
Well, it's amazing because like so many people like now that I've gone to digital is like, oh well, it's digital art. Like you don't have talent, it's just digital. It's like it's literally the same thing. It's just a different thing.
Oh yeah, similar skill set. I mean, just depending on what kind of digital art you do, but you're doing illustration regardless.
Yeah, it's drawing. Like
Yep.
that's literally the Dracula I posted the other day. I posted the original sketch and then the digital, which I drew it originally and I was like, I kind of like the sketch, so then I took a picture of it and then traced it.
Yeah.
Digital and redid it.
That's what, because I don't have a scanner. That's what I would
Yeah.
do. And then I also plan on drawing my figures in the iPad version of Photoshop, and then doing my environments and my backgrounds on my desktop version of Photoshop, and then taking the layer, the transparent PNG, and just imposing it over the other one. Because, and I'm only using Photoshop right now, but like there's a lot of tools that are missing, like things that you have on the desktop version, like straight lines. I can't draw straight lines. I want to get Procreate because that's the one they're always demoing with iPads.
Get it, download. It's free. Autodesk Sketchbook,
Autodesk Sketchbook.
and it has, from what I can tell. I mean, I don't have an iPad. It looks like a lot of the same features. Like you can do straight line. You can do that. There's a lot of tutorials online for it. So it's I mean, that's what I'm using. Took a bit to get used to, but now that I'm used to it, I'm figuring things out.
Oh yeah, I actually have that already.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'll check that one out. I actually think that's the one that I was using in what is it called? Symmetry mode. And I did a bunch of really cool drawings at first in symmetry mode.
I cannot do that. I've tried it and it like messes up my brain, which you think would make it easy. It makes it so hard for me.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, once you know about the tool, it's so easy to identify it. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll get the general shaping and everything done with symmetry mode, and then toggle it off, and then do things to differentiate one side from the other.
That makes sense. Yeah, it uses a good like sketch outline, and layers are your friends, man.
Oh God.
I mean, some of my pictures have like 60 layers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and I do like the Beatles did on the White Album. Like I never get that unruly with layers, because a lot of times I'll do highlights on one layer, shadow on the other layer, and then after I'm done with those, I'll combine them into fucking one layer of shadows and highlights, and so I'm always kind of merging them down as I go. But yeah, typically I'll have like 5 open.
No, mine's bad. Like I'll have like I'll do like my sketch. Then I'll do a more refined sketch. Then I'll do an ink. Then I'll do a flats layer. And each flat, because I layer on top, like I'll do skin one layer and then clothes on top. And then and then when I shade, each color has its own layer for shading. So there's like 2 or 3 layers per just color I use.
Are you using darker shades of the color to do shadows, or are you using low opacity black over the pigment that you have?
So with Autodesk Sketchbook, there's a couple of different features. Like you can change it to like layers, like multiply and all that, darken.
Mm-hmm.
But typically what I found is best is I pick what color my light source is going to be. And if it's a cool color, then I get, let's say it's red, and then I shift it a little more cooler. So it'd be like a purple and then darken it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's smart.
Yeah. And that kind of, and then if in the reverse for the, like if you look at the Dracula, I was like, okay, my light source is going to be a cooler color. So then I took the red and shifted it down to a purple and then down and then up into a pink and a brighter pink for the light source.
Yeah, I love
So
that Dracula that you're working on is fucking cool. I mean, despite the fact that that's not what I see when I see Dracula, that's a really cool fucking take on vampires in general.
yeah, I looked at just a picture of a bat when I did it. I was like, I'm gonna draw like an actual bat
Yeah, it's
hybrid
cool. It's
creature.
cool. All right, well, that was Inside Baseball, brought to you by Jeremy and Caleb. What's your next story, man?
Pablo Escobar.
Heard
Pablo
of him?
Escobar's brother launches unbreakable gold smartphone and vows to sue Apple.
Okay, let's break this one down. Talk to me, man. What the fuck?
So Roberto Escobar claims that the $349 smartphone, which allows users to fold it into a tablet, is, quote, unbreakable. The brother of Colombian drug kingpin Pablo Escobar has launched a rather unexpected product, a foldable gold smartphone. He swears it's unbreakable. The promotional still of the Escobar Fold 1 is the name. Features Pablo's grinning mugshot as the default background, and an advert over the phone features a scantily dressed model in heels. I mean, the CG mock-ups of it are kind of cool,
Yeah.
But an interview in Digital Trends, Mr. Escobar said, "My phone cannot break because I did not have to make glass like Samsung. Our screen is made of a special type of plastic, and we still have the best resolution. Our special plastic is very difficult to break." So he said that he's going to beat Apple, in the smartphone game.
Of
And then he
course.
also revealed a plan to sue Apple next month. And the entrepreneur says his lawyers are prepping a $30 billion class action lawsuit against the company for being, quote, scammers and, quote, cheating the people and selling worthless phones.
Okay, so this is all just free marketing, and it's clever.
Yeah.
I will say when you put your sites on Apple, then it automatically is going to put you in a position where you're getting a whole lot of fucking press about it. I just now, let me make sure I sent. Oh, here we go. I just now sent you that ad via Twitter. Actually, it's not going through. There
Is it the
it
one
went.
with the girls?
You saw it already? Yeah, the ones
Yeah.
with the dudes with the fucking guns in their faces, and they're like,
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw one with girls.
no, this one they're like bent over like porn stars, and they've got guns in their faces, and they're fucking sucking on the phone like it's a dick. Do you see it?
Oh, that's not the one I saw. I just saw one of a bunch of models that were like half naked.
That is some seriously provocative fucking marketing.
That is very
It's on
provocative.
brand. I mean, it's what you would think from Pablo Escobar's fucking brother. Is it his brother? No, it's his brother.
His brother.
Holy crap. I don't know if any of you guys don't know about Pablo Escobar, highly recommend going and reading about that guy if you're interested in like crime movies and all of that kind of stuff. This guy was he was something else. He was the world's biggest fucking drug kingpin there for a while, and like when the police went in and raided his place, like you can find pictures of it and shit.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it was, the whole situation's crazy. I think that this is how you do a launch though. You put out ads that are notably going to push buttons in today's PC culture. You call out the biggest, and to even humor the idea that this guy could compete with Apple is hilarious. But it's also, if you set your sights on the biggest potential competitor, then all of a sudden your name is in the conversation with fucking Apple, and that is smart. And then also putting Pablo Escobar on the back of it and making it fucking Tony Montana gold is like the perfect way to sell this thing. Like, if you have one of these phones, that is probable cause for me to search your car. Like,
Oh yeah. It's funny because did you see the other advertisement where it's just girls that looks like a Victoria's Secrets model shoot? I'll send you that one. Let's see if I can. Can I just copy an image?
Oh yes.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just looks like a normal like they're just standing, like four girls standing and one of them has a phone.
Uh-huh.
That looks like a normal ad,
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I kind of would like to have one.
I was just gonna ask, would you actually buy one?
I would not. I would not buy one, but I would
No.
like to have one.
Granted, for $350, if that's true and this works, and it's a foldable smartphone into a tablet, that's a killer deal.
Who was it that tried to put out? Oh, it was the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Is that right?
Yeah, it was like $2,000 and kept breaking.
Yeah, they could never get a handle on it. It ended up like they did away with it, I believe.
I think they're gonna re-release it again.
What I mean, the idea of a folding phone in itself, to me, it just seems a little gimmicky. Like it doesn't feel like there's enough of a reason to justify it.
If it were cheap, I would buy it in a heartbeat because I love my tablet like
Mm-hmm.
crazy, but it sucks having to carry it around and a phone.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
like,
Okay. So if your phone could be your tablet,
yeah,
but yours was, and I can't fucking speak for you, but if I could open my iPhone up and double it in size, I still wouldn't be able to draw on it like my 10.2
well,
inch iPad.
I use my laptop for drawing, and then I use my tablet just for like reading comics and watching anime at
Yeah.
work and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. I see.
So that would be perfect to like watch, like sit on, because I take breaks and just like watch anime at work all the time. So it'd be cool to like lay down and watch anime and not have to bring my tablet.
I wish I had your fucking job, dude. I have got those bosses that are like, they're just like, you have to be there 40 hours a week, but you can't be on your phones and you can't be browsing the internet. It's like you're asking me to be here even when there's nothing to do. So when there's nothing to do, can I just like not fucking do anything? Oh, okay. No, cool.
My job is super stressful, but it's awesome because like I literally bring a sketch pad and I sit there and I sketch while I talk to people. That's how part of the
Nice.
reason I'm so much better is I'm drawing constantly all day.
Mm,
And so that's definitely helped me. And then I take a break and I either bring my Switch or my tablet and either watch anime or play video games.
nice.
And I can take as many breaks as I want as long as I'm performing, as long as I'm working, and as long as I'm making sales. They don't care.
Dude, I wish I had it in front of me right now. I watched an anime on Netflix the other day. It was only like an hour long, and it was like about a relationship. It was about this guy that kept skipping class, and he was running into this girl underneath the pavilion on the rain days, and they kind of like fell in love. And that's the whole thing. It's like a fucking, not even a rom-com, like a romantic drama, but the atmosphere of it is so good, and the score of it and the art of it was so good that like I will put it
Like
on
it
before
is.
I go to sleep over and over again. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It was on Netflix. New anime,
'Cause it's all I'll watch. Any excuse to watch more anime, I'm in.
girl, rain, school. I don't know how I'm gonna find this shit.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You can always text it to me if
Yeah,
not.
yeah, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. But excuse me, I actually found it already. It's called The Garden of Words.
Oh yeah, it's in my queue. I haven't watched it yet.
It's so fucking beautiful, dude. And it just like, it feels like a lo-fi hip hop mix. Like that's what it reminds me of. It's just like got that atmosphere and that mood. And that like lo-fi hip hop and anime, there are two things that I feel like are so like almost synonymous with each other. And I just really fucking love lo-fi hip hop a lot.
This is Makoto Shinkai. Okay, his other films you would like then too, like Your Name and The Weathering with You, Children of Lost Voices. Yeah, I know who this director is. He does some really cool stuff. You would like. It sounds like more of his films. His films are that's what he does.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's more of a feeling than it is like plot driven, and I think that's really cool.
That's like Voice of a Distant Star was the first one I saw of his in 2002, and it was that thing. I didn't get it at the time, and it was like super hyped up, and I went back and watched it, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Okay, here's my next news story, because Chick-fil-A just can't stay out of the news. This one is from the Mirror, and it says, I don't know what the date is. Oh, December 2nd, just a couple days ago. Fast food customers call out staff for offensive note he was given, quote, by accident. A man discovered his clothing was harshly judged by the staff at Chick-fil-A after he was handed an order ticket containing the insult by mistake, and he says he's not mad, but sad. So, This guy went and ordered like he got like a 30-piece chicken nugget and a large fry, and when he received his order ticket, where it normally says the customer's name or how they identify him, it says guest Daniel carry out, and then underneath ugly sweater. So like they put ugly sweater into the computer to identify him, and then they printed it out on the receipt.
I mean, was it an ugly sweater?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, not not uglier than a lot of fucking shit that I've seen.
Do they have a picture of it? I'm gonna Google it.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And when you scroll down and you see Daniel, tell me what the first thing how would you identify Daniel on if we were going on like, hey, look for the guy in the lobby with the blank, is ugly sweater the thing that you would say? I don't know.
Well, so we're just gonna rip into this dude now?
No, I don't think so. You want me to be okay? You're right. That's not the good way of going about this. I would be like homeboy with the fucking bull nose in his bull ring in his nose. That's how I would identify that guy.
Oh yeah, it is an ugly sweater, but it's like a Biggie Smalls ugly sweater.
Yeah, it's not the ugliest sweater.
No, it actually seems like this kid has a fashion sense. That's in right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Unlike this kid, it always cracks me up too. Sometimes people who have no fashion sense really hate people fashion sense. They're like, that's ugly. And you're like, dude, that's kind of in right now. Like, I'm not necessarily into the sweater, but that's in. What he's rocking there.
Yeah. So there is that thing though, like, because trends do change so dramatically. You look at people back in the 80s and specific times and be like, whoa, we were on some whole different thing back then of what we thought was like cool. And then, as time goes by, okay, so the reason I say all that is to say, like, a couple of years ago, I started rolling my pants up at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I remember so many people be like, are you waiting for a flood? And I'm like, it's a decision. You know what I mean? It's a fucking choice that I'm making and you're criticizing me for it. What the fuck do you know? Or like,
I think
go
you
ahead.
and me are both more fashion forward, and I'm sure you've run into it your entire life than I have.
Yeah.
People be like, that's dumb. That's dumb. And you're like, yeah, all right, I'll see you wearing it in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. Get back at me when you figure out what's going on here. Or like I know in Florida maybe it's even more frowned upon, but I'll button the top button on my button-up shirts a lot of times. And I hate it when people will be like, they'll either come and unbutton it and be like, relax, or like, do you ever chill out or some shit? And I fucking button it right back up. I'm like, don't fucking touch it.
Sometimes I'll do that and people are like, oh, you're trying to be a cholo? I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
It's clearly my whole vibe. No, I've always run into this thing my entire life. Why do you dress like that? Why do you do this? And you're like, talk to me in a year or two when you're doing it.
It's a choice. It's a fucking choice. It's not like I
honestly
need people telling me what the right way to do shit is.
I'm one of those people. I like people who actually have a fashion sense, even if it's not necessarily on point. I like people who try stuff and rather. Okay, like perfect example today. Always when I report the podcast because I just roll out of bed and throw on a hat. But like I never have a fashion sense when I'm on the podcast. Like this, I don't like when people just look like this. It's like you're like, okay, you just look like a person. Like try something, do something, have a look. I think that's way cooler. And I also changed my look. I don't understand this mentality we have of like, you decided your look when you were 17.
Bro, yeah, dude. I do though understand in context of, okay, let me see if I can come up with this example. There was a television series that was in production. I can't think of any of the specific details. Oh, actually, it just all came to me. American Idol. Gabrielle Union was on American Idol, and she kept coming with dramatically different hairstyles. And the producers were like, hey, you got to quit changing your hair like this. And she basically went to social media and said that they told her that she wasn't allowed to wear black hairstyles or that she needed to tone down the blackness of her braids or whatever. But the producers came out and they were like, no, it's continuity. We're trying to make it look like all this shit was done within a certain window of time. And if you come with dramatically different hairstyles and cuts all the time, it fucks up our continuity. So I think about it in terms of like YouTubers like Phil DeFranco, Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns. These motherfuckers have been doing the thing for like 8 to 10 years and their hair almost looks exactly the same the entire time. Where if you look at my content, every fucking 6 months my hair is a different color, different style, brushed differently, all that shit.
Mine too. Like I'm actually thinking about going. I'm gonna because I watch Prisoners. I'm like I'm gonna take Jake Gyllenhaal's hair where it's like shaved here and then like not quite an undercut and then just slicked back.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
tight.
fuck it, it's something different. I get sick of just having the same look.
Yeah.
I think that's also more the artist in us, and I feel like people who aren't artists and don't have that mentality, they just view things differently.
Yeah.
And if you look different than the quote unquote the norm, even though like you and me dress the norm, we dress trendy and what's in, a lot of times. And also, I think we need to get away of the society thing of like, you hit 30, you got to give up all personality in your clothes.
Yeah. I fucking hate that.
I hate that shit. Like people, I had someone ask me, "Are you still going to dress the same way? You have a kid on the way." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not wearing like dicks on my t-shirt. Why would I?"
From not here on out, dude, it's nothing but pleated khakis and fucking fluorescent blue polos, bruh.
And I don't get it, man. I just
Yeah.
don't I've never seen someone with clothes so offensive that I'm like, oh my, honestly, I don't give a shit like what you wear. Like it doesn't even register. Even when I see people with crazy outfits, I'm like, cool.
Yeah, dude, fucking rock it. If people that use fashion as an extension of their personality, I think is cool. Like whatever
Me
that
too.
thing is, if you're using it as a part of your expression, then that's cool. Like what she said though, like on the most Sunday mornings, I think both of us are just rocking t-shirts. Like that's kind of the deal.
Yeah, I'm always in a white tee. Like this is an undershirt, and I just wake up out of bed, throw on an undershirt and a hat.
And
But like,
that's
I have a style.
yeah, for sure. For sure. You got so many shoes usually too, man. It seems like you got a fucking
I got
walk-in
like
closet
50,
full.
60 pair.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I keep it at around 8.
Yeah, I have too many. It's a little too much.
What else is going on, man? You got a story pulled up?
Oh yeah, I actually just closed that. I thought I closed the wrong one. Well, all my others are Florida.
All right, let me see if I got any more weird news to wrap this up, and then we'll move on to Florida Man. If not, man, yeah, my weird news stories this weekend were like, this person said this on Twitter.
Dude, I'm having a hard time finding some of these stuff, like because we do it so often that there's just always you're like, okay, what popped up now?
Okay. The Peloton wife's identity is finally revealed, and you've probably seen her on your TV before. Did you hear about the Peloton bike commercial?
No.
Okay, I'll play it. I'll play it on the podcast, and I'll send you the link to it as well. Peloton, PEL. Here, hold up. Peloton. It's gotten huge notoriety over the last week because, of course, people have a problem with the commercial. Where's the actual ad itself? Okay, anyways, I'll summarize. We don't even need to watch it. Basically, there is a girl, like a, probably 25-year-old, 115-pound, pretty little petite girl, and her husband says, "Hey, it's Christmas. Come out here and check out your gift." And she goes into the living room, and there's a Peloton bike, which is like a stationary exercise bike that you just put in the house and you ride it. And she starts vlogging her daily journey. And she's like, "Oh, I'm just so nervous about getting on this bike, and we'll see how my progress goes." And then a year later, she shows the vlogs to her husband to show him how happy she is that he got her this exercise bike. And obviously, the before and after, talk about continuity, she looks exactly the same when the commercial starts and when it ends. So the controversy obviously is if a man or a woman get you exercise equipment for the holidays, then it's a not so subtle way of saying you're not in good shape, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, not necessarily. I mean, maybe she talked to him and said, "Hey, I want to tone up."
Correct. People communicate, and we don't know what happened before. Like maybe she was like, "Look, honey, I don't care anything about other gifts. You just get me that fucking Peloton bike. That's all I want." And me and Victoria have talked about getting exercise equipment. It's not like I would never though. If Victoria didn't say I want an exercise machine, I would not fucking get her one. I mean, are you on the same page about that at least?
Well, no, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't give her pretty much anything that she wasn't like kind of interested in it. But like a perfect example, my wife's like, man, I really need to lose weight after the baby. She didn't say an exercise bike, but if I bought her one, she wouldn't be offended. She'd be like, okay, cool. You said, but that's also like my wife is the type, we have this relationship, like she'll grab my son and go, hey, you're getting fat. We need to go for a run.
Yeah. No, and
Like,
that's 100% normal. You're right. And the idea of if y'all had that conversation, if she looked at you kind of funny, you'd be like, "You're the one that said you needed to lose weight after the baby. I just did what I thought you wanted me to do." That's an understandable thing. I don't think there should
I
be
just
any
think
outrage
exercise,
surrounding this commercial. I
no,
definitely don't. It's silly, but what happened is people started talking about it. Well, Ryan Reynolds, being the fucking extremely savvy social media user that he is, he went out and found her and he used her in an ad for his liquor. I don't know if it's gin. I think it's gin. It's some sort of clear liquor. And
that's funny.
in the commercial, it's her, the Peloton bike girl, sitting in between two of her girlfriends at a bar. Each of them have this martini, I think, made with, it's either vodka or gin, anyways. And they're sitting there sipping it, and the girl in the middle is just like staring off completely vacantly, and her friends are just kind of like, it's almost completely unspoken. But then at the end, when they're all like, cheers, she just like takes the martini and just slowly downs the whole thing, and her friends are just sitting there looking at her like, oh, fuck. By the way, you look great. And it's just like a kind of funny way to capitalize on outrage culture.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I mean, I just can't believe people. I mean, I can believe people are outraged about this because heaven forbid you say anything that can be remotely, even tangentially tied to women's bodies anymore, and everyone loses their fucking mind.
Oh, for
But
sure.
it's so
Absolutely.
ridiculous. Like these people who watch this, I'm saying right now, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. They're probably fat, lonely chicks who have no man because they obviously don't understand the complexities of a marriage.
Yeah, I won't even be that. I can't say that. I'm sure there are plenty of gorgeous feminists out there. But it doesn't seem to be
I
doesn't
was
seem to
like,
be the norm.
that's a fucking unicorn. I've never met one.
Did you get? I just now tweeted you the commercial. I think we discussed last time, and I think you can watch it without us hearing it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we'll see. Let's see. Okay. Gift that doesn't give back. Can you hear it? Okay.
She's like totally despondent.
I want to see the other one too.
This gin is really smooth.
Yeah.
We can get you another one
If you like.
You're safe here. To new beginnings.
To new beginnings.
I want to watch this other one, the controversial one.
Oh yeah,
This
you
other-
got. Well, yeah, for sure. We'll pull it up in a second.
Here you go. Take this too.
Take this too.
Really?
Oh, that one's funny.
You look great, by the way.
Yeah, it was a smart way to, like, they don't have to address it. They don't have to say anything just because it was just this freaking moment.
Now I'm watching the actual one. This is just a bad ad with the blog.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Now.
A Peloton? Give it up for our first time rider.
She's tiny and good looking as it is.
Yeah.
5 days in a row.
So it's not like it would be different if she was overweight when she started out.
Rising with the sun.
She could gain some weight and it wouldn't hurt. Like she's real thin.
A year ago, I didn't realize how much this would change me.
How much did it change you?
Thank you.
This holiday, give the gift of Peloton.
She said, a year ago, I didn't realize how much it would change me. And I'm just wondering, like, what exactly it changed.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe her.
The thing is, would it have been better if she was overweight at the beginning?
I don't know. I almost think no. What do you think?
People would be more. Yeah, they're saying you shouldn't
Fat
judge your
shame.
wife's body. You're fat shaming her.
Yes.
Here's the thing: is maybe you're concerned with your wife's health. My wife fat shames the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
from the most loving place. I'm just not a crybaby.
And maybe what she meant about the change isn't about her physical appearance, but is about her drive and her motivation to get up. Yeah, absolutely. So maybe it's people that misinterpreted it. But I think with anything, we can't help but interpret it through our own filter, through our own bias and all of that kind of stuff. So a person with a chip on their shoulder is probably going to see it that way. Like, for example, the Black Widow trailer just now came out last week. Have you seen it?
No.
The trailer looks fucking dope, dude. It looks so good. I think so. I feel like Black Widow is one of the coolest characters in the MCU.
I would agree. Horrible casting, but man, she's a cool character.
I think everybody sleeps on Scarlett Johansson, man. I feel like and the character of Black Widow herself also really cool. Like the whole KGB element and all of that. This definitely has a Winter Soldier vibe. But anyways, at one point, David Harbour puts on the Russian Captain America suit. I can't think of what his name is, but he's like basically the Russian equivalent of Captain America.
Kremlin.
Huh?
Captain Kremlin.
That exactly. No, I don't know if that's right.
I have no idea.
But I guess he hadn't put on the suit in 10 years, so it's like super too small for him. And Rachel Weisz plays a family member of his, another character in the movie, and she says, "You've gotten fat." And Scarlett Johansson or Florence Pugh, one of them kind of like chuckles at it. And then it goes to the next thing. It's like, it's just a little throwaway fucking line. And anyways, of course, people on Twitter are upset because Marvel has consistently been fat shaming people. They're like, didn't you learn your lesson with Thor and Endgame? This is unacceptable. Nah.
Oh my God. Well, it's just it's ridiculous. As a guy who is still overweight and was very fat, like, you can't be mad at the world. The world doesn't have to walk around and treat you like you're in a fucking bubble and they got to worry about how everything's going to make you feel. Like, that's not how the world works. And the shocking thing is, no one cares about you in the world enough to help you or to try to hurt you. They're going about their business just like you are.
I come from a position of privilege when I think about comedy. I'm skinny, I'm white, I'm from a middle-class family. There's not a lot of things that I can get called. Like, when I hear a fat person joke, it doesn't apply to me, so I don't know. When I hear a black person joke, it doesn't apply to me. None of this shit offends me, right? But I have asthma, and not so much now, but when I was a kid, I had to use an inhaler. And when I see a movie or a television series or a stand-up special and there is a joke about asthmatic people in it, I can still tell if a joke's fucking funny or not. It doesn't offend me personally. You know what I mean?
I'll go through all the things. I still am chubby, but I was morbidly obese. You can still make fat jokes. I had cancer and it might come back. You can still make cancer jokes. I have a nephew that I love with autism. You can still make autism jokes around me. I have a black wife who is a foreigner. You can still make foreigner and black jokes around me as long as they're like funny, or in the movie.
Yeah.
And I have a daughter on, like, you can make fun of all this shit. We have to take intent, into it. Comedy's comedy. I mean, if we got rid of everything that offended everyone, it's like Ricky Gervais where he talks about the person being offended about like the nut allergy joke.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, really? I made like jokes about like raping people, but you're offended about nut allergy. 'Cause it's the one thing that offended you.
Yeah.
I hate people, man.
It's weird. It's real weird. But all right, we've spent an hour talking about pretty much nothing. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Florida segment in our Welcome to Florida portion of the show. I was going to say segment again, but I feel like I was overusing that word already.
Well, no, they are segments. I feel like that's a good, it's an apt descriptor.
Mom jumps into middle school fist fight, hits kid in the head with taser. That's not how taser works, but all right. A Pinellas County, Florida woman was simply going about her regular old Florida woman day, being on probation, using a taser to help her daughters in a fist fight against their fellow middle schoolers, when she was up and arrested on charges of child abuse and possession of a weapon on school property, both of which are felonies. So what? Is it a crime to be a woman in Florida now? 42-year-old Susan Mary Strawmeyer of Gulfport, Florida, jumped in the fray with her daughter, who was in a fistfight against several of her classmates at Azalea Middle School around 5 p.m. Sensing she needed to turn the tide, she pulled out her purple taser and bravely engaged one of the children from behind, hitting a child who was fighting her daughters on the back of the head multiple times and causing some minor injuries. All right, so you're an expecting father. If your kid is in a brawl at middle school, I mean, what are you not gonna fucking pull out a taser and start smashing kids in the head?
Let's start busting some heads.
You think it was out of batteries? Like, what the fuck?
I'm just gonna go Negan on this bitch and just walk with a baseball bat.
What a fucking crazy story, man.
Just like, you're an adult, you can jump in and help defuse the situation.
Yeah.
This sounds like some hood shit. Like, I've seen stuff like this happen.
Definitely, yes. This is, if Jerry Springer was still a show, these people would be getting brought in because they're on a hair trigger. Like, all you got to do is say something wrong to them and they're going to jump out and they're going to need that big bodyguard Steve to hold them back from the audience. You remember all that shit?
Yeah, remember he had his own show too.
What?
Steve Wilkos show.
Oh yeah, no, I did know that. That shit is wild, dude. You guys don't know. Like, I guess the whole world has turned into the Jerry Springer show, and that's why it doesn't have the same cash.
Honestly, I feel like social media has taken that. It's just like the shit you see. You're so desensitized to all this crazy shit.
It's all a shit show.
Yeah, that's like everything is just fucked. Politics, entertainment, everything's fucked.
My God, dude. Yeah. So you saw Tulsi Gabbard and what's his name on JRE the other day?
Yeah, great podcast.
Great podcast. I really like Tulsi Gabbard. She's got no fucking chance of winning.
No chance. She's been my one from the beginning. I'm like, I would totally vote Democrat. 100% with Tulsi. I feel like she's moderate enough in all different ways. I don't feel like she's too in the pocket of anyone, and for that reason, she has no chance of ever being a president.
I also really like Andrew Yang, but then I hear him talk, and I'm like, oh man, you're not good at this whole talking thing.
No, it's funny. I feel like Tulsi's probably would be the best choice, but Yang, I would vote for Yang or Tulsi, and neither of them. The establishment's already. I mean, you see, they're already calling Tulsi a Russian agent.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's weird to think they're so fringe because they actually are like, they make sense when they talk, and that's like, nobody's got time for that. Nobody wants to fucking deal with like actual like Tulsi Gabbard. I think she screwed herself when she spoke out against the corruption of the Democratic Party, like as if she somehow like betrayed her fucking team or whatever, and that's the very thing that we've got to get away from. And I think she really, drives that home over and over again. It's like, it's the military industrial complex. It's the policing the world. It's these fucking overthrowing of dictatorships for political and economic gain. It's this kind of corruption is what needs to be stopped. But that's so entrenched in America that the establishment will not let somebody like that get elected.
I had some friends on the left and the right watch her on the podcast, and like both of them were like, "Yeah, I could vote for her."
Yeah, she's legit, dude.
Like everyone's like, "Yeah." Like she says some things I disagree with, some things I agree with, and it's like, yeah, because she like isn't tribal.
Yeah, yeah. I think her problem is once you ask her for specific courses of action, she hasn't really thought through a lot of that part of it, because winning a campaign or winning an election has very, very little to do with how you're going to enact policy.
Well, and the thing is, I kind of, even on that podcast, she was talking about how, her and Jocko were talking about like almost like the military thing. Like sometimes you go in with a plan and you need to reassess when you're there.
Yeah.
But the problem is left, right, center, all of them right now, what they're doing is going, this is what I said in campaign. And they get in, they're like, okay, I enacted that. It's not really going the way I planned, but I can't readjust my strategy because then I'm a sellout. So I just got to stay the course on my shitty idea that I had that really isn't working.
Yeah, absolutely. Florida, what do you got? You got a Florida story?
I do got a banana duct taped to a wall sells for $120,000.
Sorry, man. That's actually one of my stories. So I'm going to need you to...
Well, you can cover the second part where someone ate it.
All right, yeah. Hit me. Tell the good people what's going on.
A piece of artwork featuring a banana duct taped to a wall sold for $120,000 in Miami last week. Now officially been sold twice because it was a 3-part series.
Let me ask you this. And maybe it shows a picture, or maybe do you get the wall?
I think you just get banana and duct tape.
Like they bought $120,000 banana that an artist had taped to a. Oh, you're buying the fucking banana off the wall. Like an artist duct taped it to the wall, and you walk up there and you say, "I'll pay $120,000 for that," and they peel the banana off the wall and they give you the duct tape and the banana.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. See, if you got a wall with it, I mean, that's a quarter of a room. I can understand that.
I just 120,000.
Nah. No. Dude, it's only like on its best day, it's going to last you a fucking week and a half.
And that picture doesn't even look like it's even going to last you that.
No, dude. And then it's like, yeah, so the second part of the story is the person eats the banana. They fucking, of course, are going to do it for the gram. They video it or take pictures of it, whatever, post it on the internet. Well, that's the only thing you can do with it. Like, what the fuck?
That's my thing is I saw some comments, people like, can you believe he ate this piece of artwork? What else is he going to do? Just take it home and put it on his counter or tape it to his wall and let it just mold?
Dude, if I've learned one thing on this podcast, what you do is you go home, you stick that shit in a blender, you fucking grind it up into a fine sauce, and you inject it into your fucking dick.
And that's how artists are made.
Yeah. Got the essence of a true. Can you imagine? Like, what the fuck makes a banana taped to a wall be worth $120,000?
I don't understand it. You know, I don't even if I was a multi-billionaire, I wouldn't pay $120,000 for a banana. A lot of this shit with art, though, is like that. It's like that video that we've all seen where the guy walks up in an art exhibit and turns his glasses upside down, and sits them on the floor, and then stands there and stare at it. Have you seen this? So this guy takes his glasses off and he sits them on the floor, and then he stands there and stares at it and puts his hand over his mouth like he's really looking at it. And before you know it, there's a crowd of people around it, and there's people on the floor taking pictures of it, laying down to get good angles of it.
Oh, wow.
It's just like, it's a lot of artist pretension. You know, it's like, oh, I know what this is about. I know what this banana duct taped to this wall really represents. You know?
I'm going through the guy's gallery of artwork right now, and I think he's super talented. It's kind of hard to say. Like, one of his exhibits is like, you know, I think they did it on a animated series. It might have been BoJack Horseman. I don't know exactly what it was. But on one side of the wall, there's all the taxidermied animal heads. Like, you've got a rhinoceros, a horse, whatever, heads. And then on the back side of that same wall, the animals' bodies are hanging. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
as if they've stuck their head through a hole in the wall. This one that I'm looking at of his is a sculpture, I guess, of like 5 horses that are hanging out of the wall from the backside.
Let me see. I'm clicking on some of his stuff.
And then,
oh, I see it.
You see what I'm talking about?
It's kind of cool.
Are those taxidermied horses? Are they sculptures? I mean,
I hope they're taxidermied horses, because then he's making a statement about how awful it is while being as awful about it.
Yes, correct. Yes, total hypocrisy. Love it. And then he's got this golden toilet. Let's see. He's got those like Nazi salute arms of white people sticking out of the wall.
What about the furries suit?
The furry suit.
It's 2 people in just lying furry suits. One's laying down and one's standing in a corner.
Why don't I see that?
And then
there's the one of him in like the doll version of himself hanging from the wall.
There's one of a police report that he just hung on a wall.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, and then there's this really crazy one. It looks like a cat baby with a Pope hat on.
There's a picture of a knotted sheets. There's...
Looking at all this stuff, though, I can see that it feels like he's a legit artist and that this was just one of a whole bunch of different things.
Even some of this stuff seems pretty bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Some of it.
But it's almost like, do you have to get to a certain technical skill before the banana becomes worth 120? Like, for example, if I went in and tried to sell a banana duct tape to a wall, nobody would buy it. But if I proved myself in classical art and all of a sudden became renowned, and then I tried to sell the same thing, is that the barometer?
Is just it's bags sitting on a pallet, saran wrapped. like a lot of this shit is bullshit anyway. I mean, it seems like Like some of them are just like pictures of friends dancing in a mall. There's one of a donkey underneath a chandelier, like an actual real life donkey.
I can't find a lot of these. There's so many of them, but he's prolific. I don't know. I think.
There's a bunny shaped like a penis, a guy in a suit.
What?
There's the letter Z that he wrote and put on a thing. There's boxes. There's moving boxes and a mattress stacked up against the wall.
So what would you find? What I mean, is it found art? Is it? I don't know.
know.
What you
He does a
call
little
it.
bit of everything. Like one's a dead rat on a table.
Yeah,
One's a
it's
picture
real
of a
weird.
sign.
He's got like a
Right.
bisected cow.
Yeah.
They call it conceptual art, I guess.
Some of it's interesting. Some of it's dumb.
Yeah, I
don't hate
agree.
it. You know what I mean?
It's so weird though. Now we're in a world where like technical efficiency isn't even necessarily enough to get you renowned anymore, because even like so many classically trained artists that learned, from Renaissance artists, like they learned chiaroscuro and how to draw after the fucking anatomy writings and stuff of Leonardo da Vinci. So there's all these people out there that can literally oil paint photorealistic shit that will never be famous artists,
Or
you know?
never, ever. And some of this shit is like cool. Like some of this takes art skill, and then some of the stuff it's like it's a box
Yeah.
sitting in a corner.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I respect the hustle.
Me too. I like make your money, man.
Mhm.
Like if you're willing to, if someone's willing to pay $120,000 for a banana, good for you, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I'm all about it. I mean, some of these are just like literally like pictures of other people's signs. It's like a picture of someone's sign at a bar, you know, like a picture of the Hollywood sign. You're like, cool.
Yeah, I
of a
can't find that anywhere else.
Yeah, I know exactly. You know, I'm sure you sold it for quite a bit.
Holy shit.
Hardware.
So Florida man story. This is, I think, the last one that I got.
Yeah.
Nearly naked Florida man breaks into school and smears feces and cake frosting everywhere.
Well, hey, you got my other story. So
You had
we
this
got
one?
2 stories. Yeah, those are the only 2
Nice.
I had too.
Deputies found desks, chairs, and drawers of a classroom covered in cake frosting. There was also a trail of frosting-covered footprints on the floor. There was an open can of frosting in the trash alongside a child's sweatshirt that was covered in both frosting and feces. There were also feces-covered hand and footprints on a window ledge where authorities say the Florida man broke in. A stapler was found placed inside a toilet. A feces frosting-covered TV remote was in the bathroom. Outside the schools, deputies discovered a laptop in the trash and a soiled pair of underwear hanging from a building. They recognized the Florida man from previous incidents at the school. He was arrested and charged on charges of burglary, petty theft, property damage, and indecent exposure. What the fuck was up with that guy?
A lot of drugs.
I mean, that's gotta be like he wasn't a student there.
No, he obviously wasn't a student. He just probably got high and broke in and did what he did. I feel like a lot of Florida man is drugs.
Oh, yeah. Jumping a fence on the property. 25 years old. It does, yeah, there's not a whole lot of other information on it, but they show that it was that Funfetti Pillsbury vanilla. That's the picture that's with it. I mean, I guess that's a good direction to go. Good flavor for the occasion.
Just creating art.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that is a really good point. If he was an artist, if he was a Banksy, people would look at that and be like, man, that shit is profound.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all marketing.
Did you see? I think you did see it, and I don't think you cared for it that much. But Velvet Buzzsaw was kind of an interesting look at the art community.
Yes, it was not the movie I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I expected it to be like a much better movie.
Yeah.
Instead, it was more like what's the name of the one? Final Destination.
Yeah, sure, I can
In
see
Art
that.
World, and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
but I would love to see that really done right.
Or what's the guy that did This Is Spinal Tap and Best in Show,
Great
Mighty
films, all of
Wind.
them.
Yeah, all those documentaries. Man, is it Christopher Guest? Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see the Christopher Guest movie about like the art society.
Oh, I would love it. It would be the
Uh-huh.
funniest thing ever.
Yeah, what a weird scene. And I actually, yeah, I went to school for art and stuff, and it's an interesting thing because most people, probably myself included, just want to be artists because it's like the way that you get paid without working.
Yes.
But it's really hard. I would venture to say it's more difficult to get a job in the world of art or be a professional artist than it would be to like be a coder or something. That's much more difficult on the front end. Like going to school to be a computer science major is probably pretty, study intensive, but then going out into the workforce after you've acquired the education, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to land a job somewhere because there's a lot of jobs out there like that. Thing about art is going to school isn't going to be a guarantee that you're going to be a successful artist because some of them never went to school at all,
Same thing goes for business school. Look at me.
Yeah.
Fucking $60,000 in debt for going to a business school. And yay me.
Business. That's
I know. Be in this school.
All right. Well, cool.
I think we should go to your topic next.
Cool. All right. Did I have a topic? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, dude. I know this is like a stone's throw away from some fucking Us Weekly Entertainment Tonight. Extra. But I'm just really curious what people's takes are on this because it came to my attention about a week ago that Billie Eilish was doing an interview with, I want to say like Vanity Fair, some big newspaper or magazine publication, online magazine. And they asked her basically, they've been asking her for 3 years the same questions. And every one of these 3 years they've asked, do you have anybody famous in your cell phone? The first year it was like one person. By this third year, she's listing off several people. And she says Drake is one of the people. And Drake is super nice to me. He's like the nicest guy. And, he's at a status where he doesn't have to be nice, So that's like really cool. Well, this stirred up some controversy because Billie Eilish is young. I think she's 17. She might be older than that now, but she's young. And people went back to an interview with Millie Bobby Brown from like 2 years ago, a year ago. I don't fucking know. But during that interview, one of the people on the red carpet, they say basically the same thing. Do you have any famous people in your cell phone? And she's like, oh, yeah, me and Drake, he's just the nicest guy. I love him so much. We text each other all the time. In fact, the other day I texted him and I said, he said, I miss you so much. And I said, I miss you more. And the girl was like, well, what do you guys talk about when you're texting? And she says, oh, he gives me like boy advice and stuff like that. So here we are in a situation where we've seen two teenage girls that have both explicitly said that they have text communications with Drake. They're both, all of these people are in the entertainment industry. So is it possible that this is a mentorship thing or is this completely inappropriate no matter how you slice it? Caleb, give us a definitive truth.
Man, this is something I went back and forth on. So, I've never texted anyone like this young, but I have a friend who she's like, I'm 34. She's like 24, 23. And I'll text her and it's literally like never anything sexual. She's a good kid and she'll ask me some life advice sometimes. Granted, she's not fucking 14,
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to say Drake's like a pervert. Just it's kind of sad that we live in a culture where you can't talk to another human being without it being considered sexual in nature. I don't want to say he's a bad dude. I don't know what their conversations are. Maybe he is just a nice dude and it's like, she's a sweet kid, and maybe that's all his intention. But the reverse side of that, would I ever let a fucking 35-year-old man text my 14-year-old daughter? You'd be out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. So similarly, I'm very conflicted about it. If we take every bit of context out of this situation, if we just say, is it appropriate for a 35-year-old man, or we'll say 35-year-old man to text a 15-year-old girl, I would say it depends on what they're texting them about,
Depends what they're texting. It depends on the relationship. It depends on,
Because there's this thing of like, mentorship is an important thing. I've had a couple of mentors in my life, older people that I looked up to that were able to kind of lend advice to me and help me navigate shit. So, just for example, if we had a buddy who was had been in the podcasting industry for the past 20 years, and we would hit him up and consult him about, advice, the industry, how to grow the brand or whatever kind of shit there, I would think that that's invaluable. I would think that it's good to have those kind of resources. The Big Brother program, it's very successful because of this idea of having older mentors and how they can kind of help shape you into being a better person and all that kind of stuff. But there's not the Big Brother Little Sister program, So
Very true.
So then I started looking at it in terms of like youth leadership. If a youth group leader wants to text his teenage youth group members, is that acceptable?
It's such a weird thing because, like, I mean, I think probably you and me. I know maybe I'm weird, but I've met people, male and female, who I'm like, they're good kids. You need anything, call me. Like, I don't mean that, and it's never been. But also at the same time, I'm like, is he grooming them? I don't know, but I don't want to put that label on him because we don't know that he's doing that. I don't want to just make this guy guilty and to be a scumbag because I don't know what he's saying to her.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like, if like, I don't know, I have a couple of friends that have kids of ages that, from the 7 to 10 to 15 or whatever age. And like, I would, because of the world we live in, I would only be comfortable communicating with them in a more open forum. Or, did your mom and dad say it was okay? I don't want this shit to come back on me. Because I do feel like that's kind of like, as a society where we're at now, it's a shame, but your first go-to instinct is there's something fucking rotten there.
I don't know, because I think of like people I know. So my friend Justin, they have a daughter. She's 2 years old now. We're going to have a daughter. We're family friends. When she's 15, if she needs help and she wants to text me, am I supposed to not help her?
Right.
Like, even though she sees me as an uncle. And then that's why I'm saying, well, it makes the relationship. How are you know this person? Are you an actual uncle? But then uncles touch little girls too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I can understand Drake being like, no, dude, I'm not doing anything wrong, because maybe he's just not a pervert. So that doesn't even cross his fucking mind.
Have you heard the Millie Bobby Brown interview?
No, I haven't.
Okay, here we go.
About your relationship with Drake. Tell me about your friendship. How did this all come about?
I love him. I met him in Australia, and he's honestly so fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. We just texted each other the other day, and he was like, I miss you so much. I was like, I miss you more. He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely going to go and see him. I'm so excited, yeah.
You and Drake? That's awesome. That's awesome.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
That stays in the text messages.
All right. What is that? How does that hit you?
I mean, on her end, she definitely isn't looking at it as sexual, obviously. I don't think so. And for all I know, she could be like, it's weird though. I mean, but for all I know, she could be like, hey, I like this guy. And he could be like, hey, you're too young. Don't even worry about boys right now. Just concentrate on your career.
Yeah. 100%. Or, yeah. Focus on boys once you turn 18 and we can fuck.
Yeah, like, it's so hard. That being said, I don't think I would, like, now would text a 15-year-old unless it was like a certain situation where I'm a family friend. And even then, it wouldn't be like heavy texting. It would be like, hey, your dad said he can't make it today. I'm going to pick you up, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd give a 15-year-old boy advice.
No, it feels like it's overstepping some sort of line. All right. On its own, I do believe that there is a way for adults to appropriately text children. I do believe that if you are an actor and you're a teenage actor and you are seeking the advice from an older entertainer, there are conversations that you could have that would be appropriate. This conversation would be a lot differently if Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things said the same thing. Like, if Millie Bobby Brown came out and said, Drake and I text and we, have a great relationship, and also one of the boys from Stranger Things said the same thing, it would greatly reduced my concerns about it, but because it's only been females that came forward, it shades it a little bit differently.
It does. It's definitely weird. I don't want to throw this label, but then at the same time, I'm like, we also got to protect children. Is this going to be R. Kelly in 10 years?
Do you think that if it wasn't a black man on the heels of the R. Kelly documentary, that people wouldn't have been so quick to go to that? And I mean, even the surviving Michael Jackson shit or whatever it was,
I feel
Neverland or whatever.
I feel like just the wake of the Me Too movement and all that, I don't think his race is probably into it too much,
Yeah, I certainly don't think that it factors into it from a like objective perspective, but as far as the narrative, I wonder if we can't draw a little bit similar lines there.
I don't know. I feel like it more just is because he's seen as like the nice guy of hip hop.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There is that.
And like, it sounds horrible, and this is really fucked up. I don't mean to even say it this way, but like most people, when they think of Drake, it's not like black man Drake.
Yeah. It's like good Canadian kid Drake.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's not seen as quote unquote as black as like some other rappers.
Yeah,
are,
I 100% know what you mean.
Like he's
but
like,
then again, Michael Jackson wasn't either. Bill Cosby wasn't either. Fucking R. Kelly wasn't. They were all seen as that archetypical, like digestible to white people kind of black person. You know what I'm saying?
R. Kelly was the most outside of that. Out of that.
Yes, yes, you're right.
I don't know. Like I don't want to. I don't want to live in a world where we say that anyone talking to an underage person is wrong. But
I agree.
At the same time, I feel like that's kind of the world we do unfortunately live in.
All right, so let me see if I can further shade this for you before we give our final thoughts on it. I feel like you're getting a little bit you're coming down very in the middle on this, and I appreciate you for that. Okay. Back in the year 2000, there was a concert in Ogden, Denver, when there was a 17-year-old girl that was called up on the stage by Drake. Well, Drake did not know how old she was. Drake calls her up on the stage. He's doing his like whole R&B thing, kind of seducing the audience or whatever, brings a girl up onto the stage, dances on her, turns her around. He's kind of like caressing her body from behind. He says, "How old are you?" She says 17. He says, "Oh, whoa, are you trying to get me arrested for this kind of shit? Why do you look like that? Why do you look like that?" And then proceeds to kiss her on the lips, send her on her way.
Well, that's weird as shit.
It's a little bit weird, but, for me, 17 and 18, not all that huge a difference. And apparently in Colorado, 17 is the age of consent.
Well, and even then, though, I mean, a 30-year-old man kissing an 18-year-old is fucking weird.
Yeah. For context, I believe he was 26 at the time.
Still weird.
Okay.
Still weird.
How about this? Drake performed at Kylie Jenner's Sweet 16 party and became a family friend. At that time, 26 years old. In October, it was revealed that Kylie and Drake were romantically linked to each other. Does that strengthen the theory?
When were they linked?
They were romantically linked in October. This is 10 years later. Yes, 10 years afterwards. Does that lend credence to the grooming theory that he likes to find girls young, treat them good, so that when they get to a certain age of young, he can seduce them?
I mean, I don't want to raise any accusation, but yeah, that's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird, dude. And
it's weird as shit. That changes a lot of the conversation we've had.
We just went on my journey, dude. That's how it started out. It's like, man, it's kind of fucked up for people to just jump to like,
so
okay.
You kind of had the same thought process I did?
All the way through, dude. All the way through. And the last revelation that I found was that when I was watching the video of him grinding up on that 17-year-old, I'm like, man, that's not good. But then I saw Kylie Jenner and Drake split up over accusations that Drake is texting young Hollywood starlets or whatever. Kylie Jenner is 22 years old now, so she's still a fucking young. You know what I mean?
How old is Drake?
Huh?
How old is Drake?
Drake is 33, 34.
Okay, so he's our age. Would you want anything to do with a 22-year-old kid?
I mean, Kylie Jenner is a fucking billionaire, and so is Billie Eilish. She probably isn't now because, you know, she's only on like her first couple record deals. I'm sure the industry fucked her over because she was young. And then Millie Bobby Brown is one of the most successful child stars ever. So he's only fucking with very, very, very powerful young girls or whatever.
So kids with very powerful management.
Yeah. He's 33 years old now. So yeah, about our age.
It's fucking weird, bro.
It all paints a picture that feels a little bit slimy, even if it's not. It's not good optics.
I was kind of I literally, like you said, you're joining, where I was like, no, you know, I don't know. Like, I've talked to people. Like, the first thing popped in my head is one of my employees at my last job. She was like 19. She was going through a breakup with her boyfriend, and I remember she was at work when someone texted her that her boyfriend was cheating on her and texted her pictures, and she's crying at work, and she's asking me for advice because she knows I've been married forever, and she knows my wife, and like, I talk to her still. So I just talked to her like 2 days ago. She told me that she moved back home, and sweet kid. I'm granted she's like 24 now, but still, like, that's not like, so my mind went there right away. Like, I put myself, I'm like, well, I used to talk to this kid. She would ask me for some life advice, and she was a good kid. And I kind of viewed her as like, you know, I was her boss and a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so my mind went there. But meeting someone when they're 16 and then moving them out of that mentor category is weird. I don't care if they're of age or not. Like, they should always be a child in your eyes if you meet them as a child.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, obviously, there's the thing about the power dynamic. If she was such a big fan of Drake that he performed at her Sweet 16 party, then obviously she looked at him as a
superstar.
Yeah, like a star. Right, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. And then, obviously, if there would have been, you know, allegations of misconduct or something, then it would have been different. But like you said, it's the fact that she aged up just into like legal adulthood, and then all of a sudden they're you know, romantically inextricably linked. Like, who's to say that it didn't happen as a result? Like, who's to say that that wasn't the catalyst of it, you know, was them meeting when she was 16 years old.
And then he groomed her. Like, I don't know, it's that fact, I'm not gonna lie, gives me a bit of a stomachache. That's like something that makes me feel uneasy. Like, all of this I thought was weird, but I wasn't like, and I'm not going to definitively throw an accusation, even though there's like 5 people that listen to this.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's still like, it's weird. That changed a lot for me here in that last thing.
It is weird, but we want to know what you guys think about it. First of all, is there any appropriate relationship that a 30-year-old can have with a 15-year-old? And more specifically, what do you think about this Drake and Millie Bobby Brown situation? You know, it's also possible that she misrepresented the conversations that they had. You know, like, even if she did it unintentionally, she's a child. Like, maybe she said it in a way, you know, and maybe the whole, like, when they pressed her, what do you guys talk about? And she said boy advice. Maybe that was just her doing PR on the red carpet and trying to come up with a witty answer as quick as she could. Who knows, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. I hope for everyone's sake involved that we just don't hear that he was a creep all this time in 5 years from now, because especially for children's, you know, thing, like, we don't want to ever see children get hurt.
No. All right. Well, that was a good conversation. I feel good about it. I feel like you and I were kind of like pretty much on the same page every step of the way. And I spent too much time reading up on this on Friday at work, so I shouldn't be too salty with work, because I did get to read about Drake and Millie Bobby Brown for 2 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're working too hard. I know we went kind of long. Should we just save my topic for another week?
Yeah.
I was like, we got like an hour and a half podcast at least out of this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, guys. Well, we'll hold on to that one for next time. Before we do wrap this up, it's always so fucking awkward to try to switch gears to talk about anything important. I was trying to decide, do I want to talk about what I probably should use my platform to talk about, or do I want to totally avoid it and just talk about something fun and enjoyable, because it's really hard to switch gears back and forth. However, there was I'm just going to go ahead and say it quickly, concisely. There was a shooting on NAS, which is one of the biggest naval academies in the world. It's here in Pensacola. There were 11 people total that were shot. Fortunately, it looks like several of those people are going to recover. I know that they were sent immediately off to, the intensive care unit and got surgery, and huge outpouring of support here in Pensacola of people going and donating blood, and just, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy, crazy thing. And at first, we're kind of getting updated in real time, and there was very little known about the whole situation, where it took place, how many people were involved, who the shooter was, and within a day or two, it had become national news. Had you heard about it?
I literally didn't hear anything about it until I texted you on Friday, and you're like, man, there was just a mass shooting over here.
So my wife is from Norway, and Caleb's wife is an immigrant as well. And we were there for her naturalization ceremony at NAS museum 2 weeks ago, and it was such it's kind of a powerful moment. I think I mentioned it to you, to see all of these people that have this idea about what the American dream is, and how how profoundly that can impact certain people from different parts of the world, like this real ideological belief about what you can accomplish as an American, and there's so much truth and validity to that, and it's pretty powerful stuff. And then to see 2 weeks later that same place, somebody came and fucking shot up fellow students. It turns out this was I think it was a 19-year-old flight student.
What the fuck?
Which is terrible. And when I was at Pensacola State College the other day, enrolling for some classes, I was in the student lab or whatever, and the person who was working it said that they found out that the shooter was of Middle Eastern descent. And I was just my heart sank. I mean, every time some shit like this happens, people want to turn it into a political discussion. I think it's disgusting on both sides. I think it's just, and in particular in this case, I don't think that there's a strong argument to be made about gun reform, because he didn't use a high caliber assault rifle. He went in there with a fucking handgun. I hate that. Before people even get a chance to mourn and to process, it's already become this same old fucking song and dance, because we react emotionally to shit. And I would never fault somebody for getting mad or wanting to blame something for it, because it's so hard to fucking understand why things like this happen. He was from Saudi Arabia. There were 200 plus flight students from Saudi Arabia. NAS has been training people from around the world for around 50 years now. This isn't a new thing. Obviously, there's a federal investigation that's been launched into whether or not this person was an act of terrorism or not, which I think is, if you go in and you shoot up a fucking building full of people, it's terrorism. I feel like there's always been association between Middle Eastern people and terrorism.
I feel like as long as there's an ideology behind it, like the white supremacist shot Walmart, that's an act of terrorism. If you're shooting something because of an ideology, I think that's what, in my head, that's what the definition of terrorism. So if this guy was shooting it for extremist reasons, yes, terrorism. If he's just a crazy person who had nothing, that was not the motivation, not terrorism, even though it's all terrorism.
Yeah. The headline that was run in USA Today was something like barbaric Saudi Arabian flight student opens fire on fucking students, and the act is barbaric. I don't think the world needs more
hyperbolic
and more anger and frustration pointed towards the Muslim community and Middle Eastern people and stuff. I feel like this was a lone gunman, and there's no part of me that wants to undermine or to take away from what happened. I think it's horrible. I just think everybody, in these kind of situations, we got to keep our composure and not let that desire to find justice, cloud our ability to be empathetic and stuff like that. But I didn't know anybody personally that was affected. I didn't know anybody that got shot. These are mostly kids from around the world, from around the country. However, I do have a good friend, Carly, that I worked with out at Peg Leg Pete's, and her boyfriend actually was shot. He wasn't killed. He was protecting other people. He was shielding other people. He got shot. and went to the hospital, and he's in recovery. He's going to do all right. But it's just like that kind of heroism, and to see that people are willing to sacrifice so much just for the well-being of other people, even in such dark times, is kind of inspiring. So, yeah, you hear about it a lot, and it's kind of inevitable that eventually it could happen where you're at, and it never really hits home until it does. But just, be vigilant. Don't live your life in fear, but try to be aware, and just, think about it. It's more than a news story. It is people's fucking lives.
To end on a little happier note, you said your wife, you went to the naturalization.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so she got her citizenship?
Yeah, man. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I didn't know. I didn't tell you that. Thank you.
And I do recommend anyone who's watching, whether you know any immigrants or not, if you have the opportunity, go to a naturalization ceremony. I've been to 2 now, and you can say firsthand it's the most moving thing. I cried like a baby at both of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's powerful.
Like, as patriotic as you can be as a natural citizen, we kind of take the shit for granted. To see the kind of trials that a lot of these people overcame to end up just being where we started out at is crazy. It's perspective.
One of the ones, I'm trying to remember if it was my brother-in-law, it was my brother-in-law. I'm pretty sure at his, there was a guy, and this is terrifying, but he was so excited, this elderly guy from Mexico. This shows you how powerful it is. He got so excited, he had a heart attack and had to have an ambulance come.
Oh, shit.
Like, that just shows you how big of a deal this is to people. And I highly recommend, if you can just go to them, but if you have the opportunity to go to a naturalization ceremony, I feel, especially if you have hangups about immigrants, and you're one of these people who has hangups specifically about Mexican immigrants, go to a naturalization ceremony and watch immigrants get sworn in. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. That was a great way to end it, and I appreciate you guys coming and checking out this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed it, let us know. Always, it means a lot to get some feedback. So click the like button, share it if you'd like to, leave a comment, let us know that you stopped by. But most importantly, and until next time, on behalf of me and Caleb, be terrible. All right, brother, that was good.